The elections were quite haphazard, and there was one year when things were run so badly that most of us deliberately didn't vote, and they had a 30% turnout and had to hold the election over again. Melissa Kahn and I were co-chairs the first time we ran the election together, and this was maybe 5 years into our being a condominium. It was very early. And at that time, there was nothing, no record of any kind to go on. So we had to draft the letters, we had to set up the procedures. I mean, the procedures are outlined in the bylaws, but we had to go through and figure out all that was and bring it to life, so to speak. So it was a tremendous amount of work.
In October of 2010, they put these to vote to the community to change the whole buildings, their windows. I didn't know too much about the building, who was running, what's going on, and how much those people who were trying to do this were, liked or disliked their ideas. And I actually voted yes because I wanted the windows to be changed as fast as possible. So after the vote didn't go through, I read the bylaw again and I realized that I have the right to change my windows as long as it is exactly the same material and the same design as it was before, but the board has to still okay that. So in this building, all the windows are aluminum, and there are not too many companies that you can buy aluminum windows. So I started to contact different companies, and to tell you the truth, I got a list of 37 different companies. I contact them, and many of them, they would not do residential, they would only do residential, and this is called a commercial. So finally, from those 5 companies, it came to 2 of them. And this building, the problem is it doesn't have one design of windows. The back and front of this place has 2 different designs. So I found a company that they could provide me with both design from 2 different companies, and most importantly, their installer, they were in-house installer.
In this green space at the exit 6, there were 5 or 6 apple trees that were very sweet and tart and very, very juicy and pleasantly warm when you would come here during the summer to pick it up from the tree. Some people around here wanted to get rid of those apples because they were rotting on the ground and they had a special smell that some people didn't like it. And a lady manager at that time managed somehow, I don't know how, to get rid of the trees from fall of one year to spring of the next year, and then she planted all those other trees here in this green space. Usually it takes 2 or 3 years for the board to get the decision, but this time decision was very, very fast, and everything was done in less than 6 months. People should communicate with each other, and they should tell their wishes or desires so that we can make one decision for all.
I didn't have any idea that we did not own the land. When we purchased this, Dick did most of it. He's a lawyer, was a lawyer, and he did most of the information and signing, etc., on this condominium. When I found out, he just casually mentioned to me, we have to look into purchasing this land. I said, "What land?" He said, "You don't own the land this apartment's on." I said, "I never heard of that. It's very unusual in the state of Maryland." So that was my ambition from then on. Get this land.
We had acquired a lawyer to help us because we knew that the land was being sold. There was a larger transaction that involved all the surrounding land as well.
The initial thinking was that it would significantly bring up the values of the apartments because we are sitting in a highly valuable real estate property.
We knew what the price was because of the contract that was signed when the purported purchasers for the larger part of the land had segmented out our parcel as a separate but included purchase in their deal.
My logic was we were sitting on a 60-year land lease, and we knew what those payments were. So if you calculated, okay, if we hold on to this land lease for 60 years, which we could have, and that was our bargaining chip, it is equal to X amount of dollars. And that turned out to be around $5-something million.
We could be overpowered. Regardless of our lease, 99 years, that's a toy of a few real estate people.
So the other school of thought was basically, Sarah, are you crazy? You know, the real estate around here is valued per square foot, and if you calculated that, at that point in time, was significantly higher.
So we had a couple of initial principles that we committed to among the board members. And the first of those was that we wanted to make sure that everybody who currently lived here and owned a unit could actually stay and participate in the purchase.
Bought the land in 2005. And many people were pleased, and I'm sorry to say that I think many people were not pleased. But I don't think they understood the ramifications of not owning the land.
We executed the purchase as a condominium and allocated to each unit owner their share of the purchase. In the end, we got about 94% of the population voting to purchase the land.
I had looked at a number of places before I decided where to buy, and I really liked Kenwood Place because it had more of a feel of a small town environment as opposed to an urban environment. We had a large green canopy, which we have basically retained to this day. We had lots of parking, and at that point I was in a situation where I had to drive to work, so I never had a problem finding a parking place, and that was very attractive. Just everything about Kenwood Place was very nice, especially to raise a young son at that point. I would tell any young couple, it's close to schools, so if one was planning to spend 5 or more years here and they have young kids, this is a great public school district within the metropolitan area. We have a diversity of individuals living here, both in terms of ethnic background, in terms of age, which I think is very important.
I think most of the people are very happy to live here in the building, and they seem to feel that we maintain the building in such a way that it makes them happy.
So we're always looking for ways to improve the well-being of our community.
The reality of our building is the people who are going to decide what to do for the next 25 years are not going to be here in 25 years.
If someone asked me if they should move here, I would encourage them, and I always have. I love the size of the building. It's, not a high-rise, and the location is just superb.
I love living here at KPC. I mean, it's a wonderful place to live.
In the spring, it's gorgeous to see all the spring flowers and everything. The autumn leaves are just incredible. And of course, the cherry blossoms are magnificent. And I even like the snow, because originally I come from Scotland and that's cold.
I love our beautiful forests, the beautiful trees, the grass. We are like a beautiful village of our own.